thank you. Can I first of all welcome everyone to the meeting, and during the course of the year, the panel, the Education and Scrutiny panel, meet a number of schools, usually about 3, to talk about their school improvement plan. And this month and is the turn of Clydach Primary School. So can I welcome the team from Clydach Primary School, and would you like to introduce yourselves before I move on?
Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm David Rowe. I'm the Deputy Head Teacher here at Clydach. I've been here since January 23. For the last 6 months, I've also been the Acting Head Teacher in the absence of a substantive Head Teacher.
Thank you very much.
And I'm Julian Nichols, and I'm a Community Governor in the school. I'm the Chair of Governors, and I've been Chair of Governors since December 2022.
Great, welcome.
And good afternoon, my name is Ben Jones. I'm the newly appointed Head Teacher, and I took up my position on Monday, the 19th, just gone.
Welcome to your new job.
Thank you.
Yeah, because can I say welcome to you all. That as I say, we do a number of these in the course of the year, and this month we're looking at obviously Clydach. So really pleased that you're here. I'd also like to say, in addition to the panel, I invited the 3 Clydach councillors as well, and I can see on my screen, I can see Matthew, and I know that Bridget is coming along, and I don't know about Gordon, but certainly welcome to Bridget and Matthew. Have we had any apologies, Michelle?
Yes, we've had apologies from Beth Allender and Councillor Sue Jones, and the Cabinet Member Robert Smith.
Yeah, could I say that Robert's father sadly died, and I have sent him a note on behalf of the panel and also on behalf of myself, because I've known Robert for more years than both of us would ever care to remember. But so it's a very sad occasion, obviously, for him. And even though when obviously a parent gets older, you realise, this will happen. It's always a big shock when it actually does happen. So our condolences go to Robert and his family. Would you like to, shall I go around the room and if you could introduce yourselves? So, I know who you all are. So then the people in Clydach know. I'm Lyndon Jones, councillor in Bishopston. I'm a governor as well, a school governor, and chair of this panel. Who wants to kick off? Who wants to go next to introduce yourselves?
I'm Michelle Roberts and I'm the Scrutiny Officer.
Okay. Don't be shy.
Mike Day, Scrutiny
Hi, I'm Councillor Francesca. Oh, it was going to happen, Mike, wasn't it? Both of us at the same time. I'm Councillor Francesca O'Brien, representing Mumbles Ward. Over to you, Mike.
I think I did my bit, but Mike Day, Sketty Councillor.
Good. Who else?
I'm Fiona Gordon. Sorry, Castle Councillor. Sorry, Dan.
There we are. Great. Sandra.
I'm Beverly Hopkins. I'm councillor for the Landor Ward.
Okay. Sandra.
Hello. Sorry, that was my microphone playing up then. Apologies. I'm Sandra Joy. I'm local councillor for Bryn Mill and Uplands, and I've got a bit of a background in education as well. So I've been where you guys are now.
Matthew.
Hi, Matthew Bailey. I'm one of the ward councillors covering the Clydach ward.
Okay, Adam.
I'm Councillor Adam Davis and I cover the Llwchwyr ward and I'm a governor on Gysainen Primary School.
James.
Hi, I'm Councillor James McGettrick, also from the Sketty ward. I work in a university and I'm a scientist, so I love the maths and science side of things, but I don't get to primary school so often, so it's always good to hear about it.
Good. Bridget.
Hiya, I'm Bridget Rowlands, councillor for the Clydach ward.
Great, thanks. Angela.
Hello, I'm Angela O'Connor, councillor for the Mumbles ward and a governor at Oystermouth School.
Great. I think we covered everyone, because I say I haven't got all the pictures up on the screen, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we have. No other hands up. Great. So thanks very much. Are there any disclosures that people need to make? And if there are, can you let Michelle know, and she will send you the relevant form. As you know, there's the prohibition of whip votes. No public questions have been received, so we can go straight into the Clydach primary school. And in attendance, as we heard, was David, the acting head and substantive role of deputy head now. The new head teacher, Ben Jones, and the chair of governors, Julian Nichols. And really welcome to the panel. I'm told we've got, I can't see them on the screen, so big apologies. David Thomas, Sarah Lloyden.
Yeah, that's right, Councillor Jones.
I beg your pardon, I didn't call you to introduce yourselves, but you're in. And Helen Morgan-Rees as well, our director.
Diolch, Chair. Pnawn da, everybody.
Great. Who wants to kick this off before we get the presentation? Do one of you want to sort of give a bit of background?
Helen, do you want to introduce, or are you happy for me to do so?
Yes, happy for you to do so. Thanks, Di.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. I echo the chair's condolences to the cabinet member, and also to welcome Clydach to Education Scrutiny, and I'm pleased to hear that they've got a presentation to make. From my perspective, and Sarah, I welcome the panel the opportunity to ask Sarah Lloyden, who is the individual school improvement advisor for Clydach, to answer some specific questions later on. But what I can tell you is that we're particularly proud of the progress that the staff have made towards the recommendations provided by Estyn in their most recent inspection. I'm not going to steal their thunder, but there's been a significant piece of work and a number of changes made to Clydach Primary School in order to make the provision for learning much better. And indeed, through our work and our supportive evaluations of the school and their progress towards the recommendations provided by the Inspectorate, we're really pleased to note that significant progress has been made. And Chair, I'll call it there, if that's okay, and hand over to the school unless there are any specific questions beforehand.
Any questions from anyone? No. Okay, Team Clydach, it's over to you.
Thank you. So just very quickly, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Rowe because obviously I've just taken up the position on Monday this week. So he's been very heavily involved in the school over the last few years. So he's going to run you through the presentation along with Mr. Nichols. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you, David, for your words there as well. And just thank you to the Cabinet for the opportunity to share our improvement journey so far. And we'll just go through the 4 questions that were shared. Can I just check that presentation is showing for everyone? Yeah, brilliant. So the 4 questions that were shared with us prior to this we'll go through, and we'll share some updates as to how we are getting on with those things.
Great, thank you.
So the first question that we were asked was progress with the school improvement plan towards the Estyn recommendations and how we're getting on with the new curriculum. So Clydach Primary was placed in special measures in November 2022. We received 5 recommendations. They closely interlink, and they've been the driving force of everything that we've done since then. So just a little bit of context to show the difference between when Estyn first came in November 22 to now and the midpoint as to where we were with staffing. So as you can see, at the point of inspection back in November 22, when they came, there was no head teacher. There was another interim head teacher who came shortly after the inspection. No deputy head teacher in post. The Elenco was absent, a teacher was absent, there was a temporary teacher, agency staff, no admin, no caretaker, no cook. There was a real challenge with staffing. If we fast forward to now, we've had Ben as the new head teacher start this week, myself as deputy head teacher, full complement of SLT. All staff are in, teaching wise, there are no temporary posts. We've got one member of staff who is off work at the moment, support staff, and there are no other absences and no other vacancies in the school. So there's been a significant shift in terms of staffing and consistency for the children of the school. So I think that context is just important to note as well as we go through things. So, yeah, following the inspection, a post-inspection action plan was written. It's a really lengthy document. It's over 60 pages long. We've reviewed the PAP and identified the milestones that have been actioned and the next steps that we have. So you can see on one side of the screen there what we've done so far. Had to shrink the font down to show all the actions that have been taken in terms of recommendation 1A, which was to establish stable and effective leadership at all levels. So there's been significant progress in relation to recommendation 1A, and we clearly recognise what's left to be done with our next steps, which we're acting on at this moment in time. When Estin revisited in June, they stated that the interim head teacher, who was Alison Christopherson, has demonstrated effective leadership, and the recently appointed deputy head teacher, myself, has proven to be an effective leader, and distributed leadership across the school has significantly strengthened. They came back in November last year and stated that the acting head teacher, which was myself at that point, and partner head teacher Alison Christopherson, continue to ensure that leadership is stable. They promote a calm and supportive culture of continuous improvement based on clear communication and high expectations. As a result, staff respect leaders and value the professional development opportunities, and that the role of the governors is evolving with a growing emphasis on reflection, and the governing body includes well-organised committees for finance and the monitoring of progress towards the post-inspection action plan. So in terms of recommendation 1A, there's been a lot of work that's gone in to ensure that leadership at all levels is improving. Part B of that recommendation was with communication, so to improve communication with all stakeholders. So again, we've developed communication with parents, with pupils, with governors, with staff, and that's come out as a real strength in the range of activities that we've done. And we're really proud of the work that's happened to date on that. And we've got some next steps to further develop that as identified from the PA. So recommendation 2 was to improve self-evaluation processes. So we identified what we've done, and we can see clearly what's going on next. We're having a big push on AOLE leadership this term. When Estin came in their most recent visit, they stated that leaders have established clear structures for evaluating the school's progress to ensure that self-evaluation activities are strategic and effective. They've embedded a well-defined calendar of purposeful activities and provide clear expectations for all staff. This clarity fosters a growing culture of trust and respect, driving forward improvements, that leaders identify strengths effectively, and they ensure that priorities and the findings are used strategically to plan next steps for professional learning. Leaders seek opportunities to involve parents in the self-evaluation process, for example, starting to incorporate feedback on curriculum development and learning opportunities in their planning. So that's a recommendation that we continue to work on as well. Recommendation on teaching. So that's something that we've worked really hard on, developing teaching across the school. You can see a list of the things that we've done so far there from the PA. The leadership team has worked diligently focusing on the development of teaching and learning. And there's a really nice quote from Eston that summarises where we're at with that. They've said that there has been a notable improvement in the quality of provision across nearly all classes. The consistency of teaching is having a positive impact on pupil progress, fostering good pupil well-being and improving attitudes to learning. Recommendation 4, in terms of the curriculum. Since the inspection, we've worked hard to develop a curriculum at Clydach. Various new initiatives have been introduced to ensure the progressive development of pupil skills. During recent visits, Eston have stated that leaders have developed a shared vision for teaching and learning at Clydach. Staff collaborate thoughtfully to establish a curriculum that systematically builds on existing knowledge, understanding and skills. We've created overarching themes that provide opportunities for a broad and engaging curriculum. Eston go on to say that the school has successfully implemented a structured approach to the teaching of writing skills. Consequently, there are now clear expectations for more regular practice, resulting in many older pupils making good progress. Support for pupils with additional needs is effective, and leaders carefully track learning, ensuring that children are making suitable progress across the curriculum. Staff clearly understand the targets specified in pupils' individual plans and use these effectively to move forward learning. Just some of the areas that we focused on within the curriculum. The first one there that we've got vision. In summer 23, we looked at our vision. All staff and various stakeholders were involved, and our new vision for the school is quite simple. It's ensuring pupils reach their full potential through providing high quality teaching and learning opportunities and experiences. That is everything that we are about. And all staff, pupils, parents had input into that. In terms of curriculum for Wales, we've developed 3 overarching themes. In the autumn term, it was past and present. This term is Wondrous World, where classes across the school are progressively looking at how to be a good citizen, a citizen of Wales, a citizen of the world, a citizen of Clydach, different aspects of that. We've developed a consistent writing approach with clear expectations, with genres mapped out to ensure that there is progression, to avoid repetition, and that pupils get a broad and balanced curriculum there. We've had a new phonics system, which is having an impact on pupil progress, ensuring that they are able to access the curriculum fully. And we've developed pupil voice. We've had whole school elections. We've had increased opportunities for children to have a say in what happens here at Clydach. They've got a real sense of ownership for the school. They've got their action plans, and it's having a really positive impact on the curriculum as a whole. As a result of these developments, we are seeing a more broad, balanced and engaging curriculum for the children. And as staff, we recognise that this work will continue to ensure that all children reach their full potential. The 5th recommendation was about professional learning. So staff have been able to attend regular training, internal training during staff meetings and inset days. We focused the professional learning to address the points on the post-inspection action plan. Professional learning is an agenda item each week where staff feedback on their professional learning to the others and consider the impact that this will have for themselves, their class and the school as a whole. Eston stated in relation to recommendation 5 that leaders have taken significant steps to develop a useful professional learning opportunities. Notably, staff members have received training in consistent approach to the teaching of reading and writing, and staff members have also begun engaging in professional learning activities outside of the school environment. This includes participation in cluster events and observing good practice in other schools. By expanding their professional networks and seeking insights beyond their immediate context, staff members are beginning to gain valuable perspective and fresh ideas to inform their teaching. Leaders have actively worked with staff members to develop clear performance management targets. These link directly to pupil progress, effective teaching, and overall school priorities. So those are our 5 recommendations. But the question that you asked as well was, what about the barriers that we've experienced? There's been a few along the way. The first one is budget. The new leadership team has inherited a significant deficit budget. The governing body have worked proactively with the local authority and the school to develop a robust recovery plan, which is reducing the deficit budget, but that is a significant barrier that we face on a daily basis in terms of our spending and what we've got to work with. That's had a knock-on effect then to staffing. Alongside this, we have had reviews of staffing at Clydach. Temporary contracts have been reviewed, the ERVR processes have been followed, and the leadership team and relevant governing body committees continue to monitor the school's finance and staffing situation in line with the budget. Premises links into that as well. We're really excited about the opportunity and the prospect of moving to one site. We know there's a long journey to go ahead on that, but that's a really exciting opportunity for us here at Clydach. However, the infant building dates back to 1862. It needs significant repairs, and we're frequently facing issues such as leaks, plumbing issues, and most recently electrical updates, which has cost the local authority over £15,000. We need to ensure that the building's maintained and fit for purpose, but also remain financially responsible over the coming time, should that building close with the expansion and modernisation of the junior site. Another barrier that we faced was the post-inspection action plan itself. Initially, we were quite restricted by that and couldn't deviate towards anything else, but Eston have now given us the autonomy to look into other areas that we identify, such as foundation learning provision. And one of the big challenges we faced as well is pace and morale. We've made strong progress to date. We as a staff are fully engaged with the school improvement activities, but the pace and demands on this for staff are tough. But as a school, as leaders, we're placing well-being at the centre of all our decisions, and staff well-being as well as progress against the recommendations is always a key discussion point in governing body meetings. And talking of governing body meetings, I shall now hand you over to Julia Nichols, our Chair of Governors, to discuss the progress and priorities of the governing body.
Thank you, David. We have put our kind of remarks really into the 5 areas that you can see there. And just really starting with the PIAP, obviously the creation of the PIAP was done very quickly by our interim head teacher and with the support of the local authority, school improvement partners, and also in that PIAP is the governing body, and members of the governing body are part of that. They are throughout it as well, and they're named governors on that, and those governors chair or heavily involved in the governing body as vice chair or in the committees. And we also have established a post-inspection action plan committee as well, which meets regularly, and our school improvement partner is a member of that body as well. I have then brought in the first-hand evidence as part of that as well. So as part of our priorities, it's really important that the governors are having opportunities to be part of what's happening in the school and collect first-hand evidence where that occurs naturally, and we have to kind of approach that in a particular way to make sure that relationships are strong and that those opportunities are authentic as well. So we're making use of natural opportunities to look at what's going on in the school. For example, with pupils speaking to governors at our curriculum committee, and also myself and one other governor being present in a book monitoring exercise with the rest of the members of staff in the school. And as we go forward with that, we plan to move on to work even more closely with staff at the school as our link governor work continues there. With staffing, governors have been really involved in the decisions made around staffing and clear engagement with staff in through the staffing committees about decisions, as David's already outlined, but also and you know a really nice part of the role as governor to be involved in the recruitment of a head teacher And although that's a long process and demanding process, it was a very good process for our governors to be involved in, and there's been clear engagement throughout that process, and obviously with the support of our school improvement partners as well. That was made a very smooth process. Our governors enjoyed being part of that and actually brought in a sense of kind of belonging, really, for those governors who are involved in that as well. With regards to the clear structure and committees, we've recently appointed a new administrative member of staff, and that person is going to be our clerk to the governors. So we'll have a newly appointed clerk, which is really a really big step forward as well. We do kind of obviously recognise the support from the governor unit in the local authority for their support and their ongoing support in making sure that our clerk is trained and ready to do the job. But as well as that, we do have a calendar of committees and committee structures and updated terms of reference for those committees. We also make sure that our committees that are taking place are meaningful and they're kind of fit for purpose. They don't go on for too long, and actually they quickly move through agenda items. And the reason for that is because we want to retain our governors, and we want our governors to continue to be interested and engaged within the governing body. The governors who chair those committees are governors who aren't me, so they're governors apart from the chair of governors who are chairing the committees, which is really exciting and actually a very nice way of distributing leadership throughout the governing body and the leadership within the school. And those governors are part of then the PIAC committee, and they feed into that. And also they have a mechanism now to feed into gathering evidence, as I said, going back to the natural opportunities for gathering evidence if they are involved in anything around the school. So the last thing really then is training. It's really important that we've carried out and we've updated our skills matrix and looking at the skills of governors, but also the gaps as well. And the training has been really an integral part of meeting those skills gaps, if you like. The training is regularly circulated around governors, and governors are taking part in training that may be of interest to them. It may be of something that they decide to do because they simply have an interest in it, or it could be because they're on a committee that requires them to have that training, such as finance, for example. But we're finding that the governors are interested and excited about attending training, and they're finding it useful as well. And as I say, that means that we can continually review the gaps in knowledge and skills within the governing body. I think that is probably about it for the update on the government.
Right, thank you.
And then the final question was about how well we feel we've been supported throughout this process to date. From the local authority, the schools received support from our school improvement advisor, Sarah Lloyd, and a big thank you to you, Sarah. I know you're here somewhere. There was an increased level of support during the period of time while I was acting head teacher. It's been really pleasing to work alongside Sarah, and throughout the time she's come in, the judgment that she's made have matched the judgments that myself and the other members of the leadership team here have made, which gave Estin real strength and positivity around the school that we're making accurate judgments about the school's needs. Another level of support that we had was brokered support. During the absence of the head teacher, the local authority provided interim leadership to the school, starting in the autumn term of 22. The interim head teacher that started after the inspection is still linked into the school, providing support at this moment. The governing body arranged and continued support for the interim head teacher, moving from an operational to an advisory and strategic role as time progressed. I just want to say that this support has been invaluable. And on behalf of the whole school community, I would like to thank Alison Christopherson, who is the head teacher of Pentraquith Primary School, for everything that she's done for us here at Clydach. She's been phenomenal. So a big thank you to Alison. Partneriaeth. We've had support from Partneriaeth in development of the curriculum. We've been assigned a link officer who has provided support to the leadership team and training for staff, deepening understanding of the curriculum, and additional general training has been received in line with the needs of the school, and staff members have benefited from attending AOLE network meetings run by Partneriaeth. And HR support to the school has been invaluable. They've guided and supported the school through some very challenging situations. We do recognise as a school the extreme demands placed upon HR and the high workload that they're facing to support all the schools in Swansea. So we just want to thank them as well for endeavouring to respond to the questions and queries in a timely manner.
Okay, great. Well, carry on. Yeah,
last
sorry.
bit, sorry. We're proud of the achievements to date. However, we know that throughout this journey, we've consistently recognised that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Staff and governors know what needs to be done further to improve, and we're determined as a team to do so. We thank you for allowing us to share our journey today, and we thank the whole school community for their ongoing works to make Clydach such an exciting place to be. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, David. That was excellent, and Julian, really good to hear. And thank you for the work that you've done so far. And it really has made a big difference. Now I know there will be questions. Who would like to kick off? Can you use your virtual hands? Coming in first. Yes, we've got Angela.
Oh, hi all. Thank you very much for the presentation. It can't have been an easy job to have gone into, big tasks. I understand it's obviously been a difficult time, and well done for everything that you've done. Just out of interest, obviously, because the original head teacher is no longer there, from my understanding, is that correct? Yeah. And so with regards to obviously there being a high staff turnover and there being a lot of new staff coming on board, roughly how many of the original staff are actually still with you? I mean, I don't expect you to give me exact numbers, but, roughly are the original task force largely all gone and it's pretty much all been replaced, so to speak?
No, there were high levels of staff absence before. So I think the best way to answer that question would be that because of the focus we put on well-being and what's been put in place, the staff are in work. So myself as new deputy head teacher and Ben as new head teacher, but the staff in complement, it's just meaning the staff are actually in work, which is the positive.
Okay, because my next question was going to be about retaining the staff then that you've actually got, but I guess you've largely managed to keep some of those staff.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Angela. Matthew, you've got your hand up.
Thanks, Lyndon. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Huge effort, and speaking to a lot of the parents whose children attend Clydach, I think the resounding message that I've received is that they've also seen huge improvements, which I think is really important. They've all commented that the communication's really improved. The newsletter is brilliant. That's been really positively received by everybody. There's a school app as well. The parent and school crew, although it's not education specific, but it's the extracurricular stuff. That's doing really well. A lot of the parents have commented on that as well. Good presentation, lots of abbreviations. I didn't understand a lot of the abbreviations. I was going to ask, is there any form of interim report that can be provided to parents? My first question. Even if that's some sort of quality assurance process or something like that. I can see you've got the pupil voice, which is great. Is there a parent's voice, or is there anything we can do to judge the opinions of parents as well? I think it's important to drag them along with us as well. And that's it. The other issue, obviously, from a ward member point of view, I can see there's potentially you're looking at the closure of a school site. I've been approached personally around a compulsory purchase of gardens and building flats and parking, and I know that can be Chinese whisper. So I think it's important to sort of keep us informed if possible of the school site closure. You know, there was strong feeling around the Great Given Park school closure, so we're just eager not to sort of repeat that again and make sure people are informed from the start. So yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Great, thank you, Matthew. Who's gonna?
In terms of the closure, it's moving us to one site. It's, even though we are on split sites, it's one school across two sites, and one of the criteria for the education plan that's been gone through is to remove surplus places and to look at split sites, moving them to one. So even though that building itself may close if it goes through, it's a long procedure to go through, but the school would not be closing. It's a separate building. It's the one school there. So just to clarify that, there's no closure of the part of the school in the plan. It's just the building. And in terms of the progress reports, Sarah sends out to our school improvement advisor. There's a termly newsletter that goes out to parents, updating them on the information. And there have been meetings in the school as well. I know you've been to one of those meetings. There's been a PAP meeting. There is weekly or fortnightly newsletters that go out to parents. There's information on the website. There's questionnaires that have gone out. But if there is anything that gets fed back to you specifically about what parents are wanting in addition to that, I'd value that being sent through to the school so we can build upon what's already in place.
That's great. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, David. Bridget.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I'd just like to put on record really my thanks to everybody who has basically turned the school around, because it's not that long ago where I was taking calls off parents where they were removing their children from the school. So to see the school at this stage now is really, really welcoming from my perspective. So my thanks to all the staff, the governors, and absolutely everybody. I'd also like to welcome Ben to the post, and honestly, I look forward to working with you. And if there's anything I can do as your ward councillor, please do get in touch. More than happy to help, you know, in any way that we can. And really then, just going on from Matthew's point regarding the closure of that one site, before maybe rumours start spreading, which unfortunately they will, as you know. I don't know whether you've put it in one of your newsletters or are going to, but if you could just like reassure that, you know, it's not a school closure, it is actually, you know, and the purpose of why you're doing it, I think that would be welcomed by everybody.
Yeah, thank you for the comments and the offer for support for the school. That's great. And we did, before the half-term break, we sent out a newsletter to the parents and discussed with staff all the information we had to date. So it's, at the minute, there's not much information other than the proposal, and that was going to be put forward for funding. So we've kept it simple to start with, but we have told parents as soon as we hear any more detail, we will inform them in a timely manner.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks. And I can see Helen's got her hand up, and I know that Sarah had put her hand up, and that's gone back down. So Helen first, and if Sarah does want to come in, just come back. Helen.
Yeah, just on the matter of the capital investment in the school, I think it's a really positive news story, and the more we can support the school with comms to parents from a local authority perspective, I think that will serve the community well, as you said, Bridget and Matthew. But it is really an investment rather than a disinvestment in the school. So it's really to help the school have better facilities on a sustainable footing. So I think it's a good news story all round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Well, quite a few. Sarah and then Sandra. Sarah.
Yeah, I was only going to pick up on Matthew's point about the communication in relation to progress reports, and David has picked that up now to say that we send out a newsletter, Julian as Chair of Governors and myself as School Improvement Advisor, on a half-termly basis to give an overview of the progress that the school has made. From my point of view, the progress has been quite phenomenal. The school is transformed.
And it's a really positive place now to be. The children are getting a really good deal in terms of both the curriculum and the support, the wellbeing support. There's been a considerable sort of improvement in governor engagement, and that's down to Julian's perseverance. And you know that the interest of governors now is much improved. And thanks really should go to David Rowe, because he's done an incredible job leading the school over the last 6 months. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that he's come from a class teacher's role a year ago, and has been supporting the school through you know, the process of special measures. So you know, that's been no mean feat, and well done to him.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for the part you played actually in making this journey happen too. Great, Sandra.
Sarah's taken the words out of my mouth, but she's expressed it much better than I would. I just wanted to say thank you and well done. To pick that school up from where it was and the journey that you guys are on at the moment. I'm looking at the Estin comments that I sort of wrote down little sound bites as you were bringing them out, and, you know, notable improvement in quality and provision, you know, clear structures, purposeful, clearly understood, growing culture of trust and respect. You don't get those comments easily. That takes quite a lot of work and personality as well. So I am just, guys, hats off. Well done, and keep on this journey.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Are there any? I just got one or two, but are there any other questions? Any other hands up? No, there aren't. Just a few. You mentioned about obviously teachers were not coming into school. The absenteeism was quite high. But now you put well-being at the very heart of that, and that you highlighted. Are you taking teachers with you on the new curriculum journey? That's quite important, because the new curriculum is less prescriptive as the old one, and therefore, whereas teachers basically knew what they were doing every term before, now it's slightly different, and it's important that we take teachers on that journey, and if need be, with some people, hold their hands on it, because it's a change they didn't make, but having to implement, and they are key to the success of it.
Yeah, they really are, and I think the success behind that, the key behind that, is that it's ours. It's not come from another school with a logo changed on the top. It's not something that we've purchased into off the shelf from a company. We've worked hard, we've taken it step by step, and everything that we're producing now is ours. It's not come from another school. It's not come from an advisory service. It's not just been handed to us. The staff have had control over it. They've created it and they feel proud of it. So it's Clydach's curriculum. So that's been the driving force of it, that we are creating everything for Clydach and it is ours and it works for us. So that's been a real driving force in making sure that staff buy into things at all levels and everything that we've done, that it is ours. It's not just off the shelf.
Great, fine, thank you. Francesca, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. No, just to echo everyone else, what everyone else has said, really. It's evident, you know, when you showed us that graph of, well, not a graph, but sort of displayed what it was like back in 2022 with the staff that were absent, the caretaker, you know, the cook, you know, if you haven't got the team working functionally, then those children haven't got a chance, have they really? Because you need a solid team there. And look what you've done in 2 years, and that's at the back of COVID as well. So you've had the COVID pandemic to deal with, and then this on top, you know, gosh, talk about coming back, you know, with a vengeance, really, and hats off to you all, because that's no mean feat. But you can see that, you know, when you've got, you know, good staff and you're utilising everyone's leadership skills and expertise, look what can happen. So you can just see that from that graph you had, you know, from where you were to, you know, really sort of skeleton crew almost to where you are now, and you're still smiling at the end of it. So well done.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Francesca. Any other questions from anyone? No. Could I then really thank you, really thank you guys for the job that you've actually done. You've come on a bit of a journey here, and really pulled the school, up, and so really well done, because I think it's obviously it's making a huge difference, and you can see from your enthusiasm with what is you can see what's going to happen in the future. So thank you very much. We're all really grateful to you for the work that you've done to get us to that and to get you to that point, but also that we're excited about the things that you're going to be doing in the future, and you have our support, and keep the good work up, really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And we've got a few things outside this, but you can escape if you want to. But I know you gosh, you're busy, and thank you for putting the stuff together for the presentation as well. It all takes time out of your day, and we are really grateful to you for the work that you've done. And really, as I say, good luck for the future.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Good. Well, that was very interesting, actually. I think they've come quite a way, haven't they? Which is great news. The next item on the agenda actually is if nobody's got any questions. Oh, sorry, Sandra's got a hand up. I beg your pardon.
Sorry, there was just one thing I forgot to ask is, when are Estin back next? Because they did their interim. When do they appear next?
Who's going to? Oh, yeah, we got Helen coming in with a reply to that, I'm sure.
I haven't got an exact date, Councillor Joy, but if it's pretty soon, I would expect after Easter. And then, ideally, we'd like to see that school come out with special measures by Christmas, but we can't put a date or a figure on it because they've had a bit of a bumpy journey. But hopefully, we'll get that kind of positive. What we're looking for is Estin to tell us that sufficient progress has been made. We know it's good progress, but we need to have that rubber stamped by Estin.
And hopefully then they can just hand over to you, basically, can't they, with a bit of luck? And home to you guys.
That's great. Thank you. Francesca, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, so I know Sandra just jogged my memory then. When was their last inspection? So before November 2022, when would they have had their previous inspection? Do we know?
7 years prior to that.
It is 7 years. Okay, because I just wondered how, I not that I looked at the previous one, just to see where it just went, from what stage was it at 7 years previous, was it sort of a gradual thing, or was it, I don't know, but that's why I was wondering. So thanks, Di. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Helen.
Yeah, with that inspection 7 years previously, there were no particular alarm bells. So what normally happens is that we have routine monitoring and evaluation of our schools. And obviously during the COVID period, things were a bit abnormal. So we didn't undertake the normal monitoring. We couldn't go into our schools. So during that period, I think there were several factors really that led to the school entering special measures. And we saw it coming, and indeed the ward members who have participated here this evening, we communicated with them before the inspection to say it was on the cards. We could see that there was not enough traction in the advice we were giving to the school. It wasn't being taken up, and it's not about blaming individuals, but we could see the school wasn't moving forward and out of the COVID pandemic quickly enough.
Okay, great, fine, thanks, Helen. Any other questions from anyone on that? If not, the next item on the agenda is our work plan, and we were going to visit Bishopston Comprehensive School. Excuse me, on the 13th of March, But we have spoken to Jeff Bird, the head, and in view of everything that's going on there, what we've decided to do is to postpone that to July, because they'll obviously, when everything gets back to normal, they'll have catch up, and the last thing they want is for us to be appearing there, and so on. So we are putting that back to July, if that's okay with everyone, to help the school. So our next meeting will be on the 18th of April. Okay. Any comments? Any thoughts? No. If not, thank you all very much, and it was really good to see, a good news story, and also thanks to Helen, David, and Sarah, the work that you've done in pulling that school around as well, the support that you've given to the school, and I think we need to note that as well, because sometimes you don't get the thanks you sometimes deserve, but clearly big support there and turning that school around. And I know you've been putting people in, as we had a meeting, I think we've had about 3 meetings for different things this week. But when he met the panel, I think it was on Tuesday, where we talked about the fact that he would somebody in for 1 day a week even, at one stage. So really, really thanks for that. And, it's paid off. But they're not out of the woods yet. They've got more work to do, but the enthusiasm is there, and they've got a plan. And I think that is the important thing. So in any case, have a safe journey home or wherever you are. And I'll see you all, if not before, at our next meeting on the 18th of April. So thanks very much. Bye.